My name is Hannah Brooks. I'm 34 years old, a single mother, and until 2 years ago I still believed that if life ever truly fell apart, my parents would be there. I was wrong. The night everything changed started at 2:17 a.m. I remember the exact time because I checked my phone so many times that the numbers burned themselves into my memory. My 7-year-old daughter, Lily, was gasping for air in the back seat of my car, not coughing, not wheezing, gasping. Every breath sounded like she was trying to suck oxygen through a straw. I was driving 90 miles an hour toward the emergency room with one hand on the steering wheel and the other reaching into the back seat every few seconds just to feel her hand. Mommy. Her voice was weak. I can't breathe. Those 4 words nearly destroyed me. I kept telling her everything would be okay. I kept telling her we were almost there. I kept lying because I was terrified. Then my phone rang. Actually, that's not true. I was the one calling. I was calling my mother. For the 5th time, she finally answered. Hannah, do you know what time it is? I nearly cried from relief. Mom, please. Lily can't breathe. I'm taking her to the ER. I need help. Silence. Not concern. Not panic. Just annoyance. Then she sighed. What do you expect us to do about it? I almost missed a red light. What exactly are we supposed to do, Hannah? My hands started shaking. I don't know. Come help. Watch her if she gets admitted. Help with expenses. Anything. Another silence. Then came the sentence I will never forget. If you couldn't afford a child, maybe you shouldn't have had one. I actually pulled the car over. For a second I couldn't process what she'd said. My daughter was fighting for air, and my mother was criticizing my life choices. Mom. My voice cracked. She's 7. Then handle it. You're always creating drama. Click. She hung up. What I didn't know then was that this wasn't even the worst thing my parents had done. Not even close. And a year later, when they showed up at my front door begging for help, I finally learned why. I called my parents at 2:17 in the morning because my 7-year-old daughter couldn't breathe. I was driving toward the emergency room with one hand on the steering wheel and the other stretched into the back seat, trying to keep contact with Lily's tiny fingers. Every breath she took sounded wrong. Sharp. Shallow. Terrifying. The dashboard lights painted her face blue as she curled against the seatbelt. Mommy. Her voice barely reached me. I don't feel good. My heart nearly stopped. We're almost there, baby. I wasn't. The hospital was still 15 minutes away. 15 minutes felt like 15 years. I grabbed my phone and called my mother. The call rang 4 times before she answered. Hannah, do you know what time it is? I almost started crying from relief. Mom, please. Lily can't breathe. I'm taking her to the ER. There was a pause. Not a worried pause, an annoyed pause. What do you want me to do about it? I blinked. What? What exactly are we supposed to do, Hannah? My grip tightened on the steering wheel. I need help. With what? I don't know. Anything. Maybe come to the hospital. Maybe help if she's admitted. Maybe my mother cut me off. If you couldn't afford a child, maybe you shouldn't have had one. For a second I thought I'd heard her wrong. My daughter was struggling to breathe, and that was her response. Mom, you're always creating problems. Click. She hung up. I stared at the phone in disbelief. Then Lily started coughing. Violently. The sound snapped me back to reality. I slammed the accelerator and drove faster. The emergency room admitted her immediately. That alone scared me. Normally hospitals made people wait. Not that night. 3 nurses appeared within seconds. A doctor followed. Someone took Lily from my arms. Someone else asked questions. I answered automatically. Age. Medical history. Symptoms. Insurance. The last question nearly made me sick. Insurance. I had it. Barely. The deductible was enormous. I was already behind on rent. I already had credit card debt. I already worked 2 jobs. Now my daughter was in a hospital bed connected to machines I couldn't afford. An hour later, a doctor finally approached me. His expression wasn't reassuring. "Those are words nobody wants to hear. We're stabilizing her, but we need to run more tests." My stomach dropped. What does that mean? It means we don't know exactly what's causing this. The next 48 hours became the longest of my life. Lily remained hospitalized. Doctors moved carefully. Tests piled up. Bills piled up faster. I barely slept. I barely ate. I sat beside her bed holding her hand and pretending everything was okay. Whenever she fell asleep, I cried in the hallway. The first bill arrived before she was even discharged. Then another. Then another. Every envelope felt heavier than the last. I called my father. Maybe my mother had simply reacted badly. Maybe Dad would be different. I should have known better. "Hannah." His voice sounded irritated immediately. "Dad, I need help." "Money?" I hesitated. "Yes." "No," I blinked. "No. No, just like that." One word. No explanation. No concern. Nothing. I felt anger replacing fear. "You haven't even asked how Lily is." His silence answered everything. Then he finally spoke. "Your sister needs help right now too." I frowned. What does that have to do with anything? Everything. My younger sister Emily was 29. Perfect Emily. The favorite child, the golden child, the center of the universe. What help does Emily need? She's starting her boutique. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My daughter is in the hospital, and Emily is building a future. I laughed, not because anything was funny, because I was stunned. "Dad, are you serious?" "Life is about priorities." Then he hung up. Life is about priorities. Those words haunted me for months, because they were right. Life was about priorities. And my daughter simply wasn't one of theirs. Over the next few weeks, everything got worse. I missed work. Then more work. Then even more. My manager tried to be understanding. For a while. But understanding doesn't pay salaries. One afternoon he called me into his office. I knew before he spoke. The expression on his face told me everything. "We have to reduce your hours." I felt my chest tighten. "Please don't." "I'm sorry." I drove home numb. Less income. More medical bills. More medications. More specialist appointments. The math didn't work. I spent nights staring at spreadsheets, moving numbers around, trying to create money that didn't exist. Eventually, I started selling things. First jewelry. Then furniture. Then electronics, anything that wasn't essential. One night, Lily walked into the living room and noticed the television was gone. "Mom?" I forced a smile. "We didn't watch it much anyway," she nodded. Children trust their parents. She believed me. That almost made it hurt more. Then came the eviction notice. I sat on the kitchen floor holding the paper while my hands shook. 3 months behind. Final warning. I couldn't breathe. For several minutes I just stared. I wanted to call someone. Anyone. But there was nobody. Not anymore. The next morning I received a social media notification. Emily had posted photos from a vacation. A luxury resort, ocean views, designer handbags, champagne. The caption read, "Blessed beyond words." I stared at those photos until my vision blurred. My parents had claimed they couldn't help, yet somehow they were funding Emily's dream life. Something inside me broke that day. Not dramatically. Not loudly. Quietly. Permanently. I stopped expecting anything from them. That decision changed everything. Because once I accepted that I was alone, I stopped wasting energy hoping someone would save me. I started fighting differently, harder, smarter. I took freelance work at night. Remote customer service jobs, data entry, anything legitimate. Anything that paid. I slept 4 hours a night. Sometimes less. My body hated me. My bank account still hated me. But slowly things began moving. Not quickly. Not dramatically. Just enough. Then something unexpected happened. A woman named Claire noticed me. She was one of the parents from Lily's school. We'd spoken maybe twice. One afternoon, she found me crying in my car. Instead of pretending not to notice, she knocked on the window. That simple act changed my life. Within weeks, she connected me with a local business owner who needed administrative help. The pay was better. The hours were flexible. Most importantly, I could work from home. For the first time in months, I felt hope. Tiny hope. Fragile hope. But hope. The opportunity grew. Then grew again. The business expanded. I became indispensable. Within a year, I was managing operations. Within another few months, I received an offer to become a partner. I nearly fainted. The woman who couldn't pay rent was suddenly helping run a successful company. The transformation wasn't overnight. It came through exhaustion, sacrifice, persistence. But it happened. Meanwhile, Lily got stronger, healthier, happier. Every improvement felt like a miracle. By the time a full year had passed, life finally felt stable. Not perfect, stable. Then came the knock. 3 sharp knocks on a rainy Tuesday evening. I wasn't expecting anyone. Lily was upstairs doing homework. I opened the door and froze. My parents stood on the porch. For a moment, nobody spoke. I hadn't seen them in almost a year. My mother looked older. My father looked tired. Good. What are you doing here? They exchanged glances that immediately made me suspicious. Then my father spoke. We need to talk. I laughed. No, and I started closing the door. My mother's hand shot forward. Please. That single word stunned me. Please. My mother never said please. Not to me. Not unless she wanted something. What do you want? Silence. Then my father answered. We need help. There it was. The truth. I stepped back and led them inside. Not because I forgave them, because I wanted answers. What I learned that night explained everything. Emily's boutique had failed. Spectacularly. Hundreds of thousands in debt. Bad investments, questionable loans.